It's in motion.
How's it going, Exiles? My name is Ralph, and today I wanted to resolve the last issue's the problem of level 100, as I put it, getting to level 100 being too easy, and I do that for a reason. A brief disclaimer, this isn't about me being right, it's not about my opinion being, better than anyone else's or something like that. It's about Path of Exile, and it's about my love of the game, and hopefully your love of the game as well. Now, I love the comment section, and I love the feedback that a lot of you guys gave, and I love being able to accept new opinions, people disagree with me, people disagreeing with me, people agreeing with me, people who offered me new perspectives. That's like it's my favorite part about what YouTube so far. So there's a lot of feedback on that level 100 video, and I just can't respond to all of it in the comments there by typing like I've been doing so far. So I figured I would just put it here in this video. And you don't have to agree with my opinion. You don't have to like my opinion, but I would hope that you can at least respect my opinion from one exile to another. So let's conclude things. Now, for the sake of this conversation, we're going to sort us exiles into two groups of people: casuals and the elite top tier players. Now, the elite top tier players, these are people that are able to get to 100. Havoc and E-Top and all the crazy people. They do it all the time. I don't know how. But I don't want to say just able to get to 100. I would say people able to get to 100 maybe, and if they were on standard mode as well. Because someone like Zizarin, Team Never 100, I mean, let's be real, he still earns the title of hardcore player, and, people who have occasional lag deaths and then they lose their hardcore characters, they could get level 100, and they definitely deserve level 100, and they sure play like maniacs. So those are hardcore players all the same. Now, we have casual players. There's people like me. Casual players, we don't have a lot of time to play. I mean, we play when we can, and we enjoy the time that we do play. We enjoy our time as we can. With things like, relationships and jobs and schooling and other hobbies, you don't always have time to play Path of Exile. And let's be honest, you probably can't get to level 100 as a casual player. I mean, that's just how it is. For example, I made 2 videos today, so I'm probably not even going to play PoE today. But, that's just because this is something I want to do. But, the hardcore players, they're playing PoE all day, every day. And that's the difference, Casual players, they value other obligations more so. And because of such, we don't really have the time to get to 100. So, going forward, we have casual players and we have the elite, the top tier players. How do each of these groups, these divided groups, you can't balance around the top percent, and you filthy casual. These divided groups, this at odds with each other. How do they see this issue? So let's look at casual players first. For me, as a casual player, I say that getting to level 100 is difficult. It is a hard thing to do. Now, yes, my previous video, too easy, is misleading because I did not probably elaborate enough. But still, it is too hard for me to get to level 100. However, I've never gotten to level 100, so it's always been hard for me to get to level 100, and it's still going to be hard for me to get to level 100. So what does that really matter? I have no personal experience engaging in that task, in getting to level 100. So is my opinion really anything special? No, it's personal. It's to me. My opinion only applies to me because it's only my experience. I have had my gaming experience, and it's too hard for me to get to level 100, and it always has been. So what I have to say on the issue as a casual player, does matter. But Whether I think it's too hard or not is kind of, it's hard to follow that information, and it's hard to know how important it is unless you look at some other things. But for now, we can just say that that doesn't really mean a lot because it's always been too hard for me to get to level 100. So let's put that aside for now. As a casual player, saying it's too hard it's hard to actually get constructive, improvements for the game out of that. But there is definitely some concern to be had when you look at the opinions of the top tier elite players, people who have reached level 100, people who are crazy enough. And they have said that getting to level 100 has gotten easier. And, just an example of this, GGG used to run 1 week races. That was a pretty popular thing, and people didn't get level 100. Getting to level 100 took over a month, and this is a big difference now. It's crazy. And, you can say, oh, but they're no-lifes and they have nothing but the game and, no obligations, no girlfriend or no job or no whatever. They just play the game and they have a community of people to help them and they've played for so long and they've really mastered the game. So how can you say, how can we take their opinion? We can't balance the game. We can't scale the game off people that play that frequently to that degree of skill. But this is concerning that they would say that it's getting easier, because we do not want Path of Exile to lose the interests of the top tier elite players. It's part of the game. It's part of the game culture. You see the rips on global, position 2 on the ladder has died. You follow the race to 100. It makes for some great TV. You follow it on Twitch. The drama, the excitement, and all this. And if the top tier players are saying it has gotten easier, then it's going to lose excitement for them. It's going to lose intrigue for them, and then they're going to be less excited. And then it's going to come through when the race to 100 comes along every challenge league. And that's one of the huge differences. These top tier elite players, within this 3 months, they can get 100. Us casual players, we can't. And it gives us this entertainment, this TV to watch, and this epic race, and it creates celebrities in the game. Havoc and Etup, their names because they're amazing. They're the craziest racers, and they go hard at it every time, somehow. And we're not talking about balancing the game around them. We're talking about having something there to keep them interested. Because if they lose interest, we could lose them from the game. And if we lose them from the game, it's going to do a lot of harm to the community and the culture of PoE. It's going to, it's always been there. There's always been this epic race, and PoE has always attracted these epically hardcore players. And if we lose that, it can be a huge detriment to the game. We need these things. And also, if we lose those hardcore players, who are we casual players supposed to look up to? Who are we supposed to learn from the masterminds, these people that have mastered the game? You look at them and you can figure out, how to level faster and how they did this and get their tips and get their knowledge. There needs to be this huge gradient of player skill, and there needs to be these fascinating players with this amazing level of knowledge to learn from and to observe. It's exciting, and it's good for the game, and it helps us casuals. Now, we're not talking about balancing the game around the top percent of players, around the top tier players. No, I don't want to do that because I am a casual player. That's definitely not what I want to do. And we just need to have something for these top tier players to be engaged in, because right now that race to 100, it's lost its interest. It does not last as long, and we need more for them to keep them interested in this game. But you casual players, me as well, I hear you, and I care about your opinions, because honestly, in Talisman, I got a level 95 character, and I still consider myself casual. I had a lot of time off, so I was playing Talisman quite a lot, and I got to level 95 and I needed all those skill points. I mean I did, because I had low amount of percentage life on the tree. I really needed the base life from the levels. I needed the extra jewel sockets. I needed my character to be able to get to level 95 to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to do high level maps when I put the time in. So we need to keep the intrigue of these hardcore players, but we can't hurt casuals what they're able to do right now. We don't want to make the game for the people we've attracted with Ascendancy, all these new players. We don't want to make it any more difficult than it is for them and put them off and make them leave. We need to add a challenge for the hardcore players. We don't need to, make the game more challenging for casual players. And I have to ask this question to you casual players about this, because this is another, people talk about entitlement and all this or whatever, and let me ask you, within 3 months' time, that's the average time for a challenge league, something like Perandus that's going on right now, for you casual players, do you think that within the 3 months' time, with your casual gaming lifestyle, when you play when you can, as much as you can, whatever, and you enjoy it as you can, you don't really go too hard or no life it, within these 3-month challenge leagues, do you think you should be able to reach max level? Do you think you deserve it? I mean, do you think it's something you should be able to do with the amount of time that you play? Should we balance the game around the average player being able to get max level in specific? If you say no, if you think you don't need it, if you don't deserve to get to max level playing with a casual amount of time on your character, then this probably isn't an issue, because you probably understand the idea that, yeah, I'm a casual player and I'm not going to get to max level, but that doesn't bother me. Now, if you are a casual player and you feel like you should be able to get max level within a 3 months time challenge league playing at a casual player level of time, I have to ask why. And yes, there are other games like Torchlight and Diablo 3, and games like World of Warcraft and other MMOs. In those games, you get to max level and then the end game begins. You get to max level and then it begins. But Path of Exile is not the same way. Path of Exile is not the same way by any means. The only thing levels start to give you as a casual player is you just get a little extra skill points, and you just get a little bit of extra base life and a little bit of extra base mana. So you don't need to get to max level, and I don't know if some of you are new to Rayclast, and maybe you don't know that, or maybe you just really want to be able to get to level 100, you really want to have the max amount of skill points, and you don't want that to be affected by all this talk of, is getting to level 100 too easy? Because you're scared. You're scared that we're going to make it too hard to level, even harder to level like it was back in the old days, and then you're not going to be able to make your builds that require skill points of upwards of a level 90 character that you're able to reach now. Sure, it's difficult for you, but you don't want to have that taken away, and I can understand. But honestly, if you do believe that you should be able to get max level within 3 months' time at playing as a casual player, I'm telling you that you don't need to. You really don't need a max level character to be able to enjoy the game. I mean, you can do the highest level maps at level 90. You can do, I've seen people do crazy, Uber at Siri challenges, and they've killed Uber at Siri at level 70. Their level, yes, getting more extra skill points does matter, but let's be honest with each other. If you can get to level 90, those extra 10 skill points, we're not going to change that maybe. We're just going to have the last bit, those last couple skill points. You're going to be fine without them. You're still going to be able to, make your characters. And I really do empathize with your concern, and you're worried about, having this taken away from you, that the game's going to become too difficult and you won't be able to enjoy your awesome characters that you're able to enjoy now in Ascendancy. So I don't think we should do anything to change the casual player's experience, besides providing them with a little bit more of an entertaining race to 100 and whatever. We need something for the elite players to do so the casual players can enjoy watching it, while still having their fun builds. And let's get on that same page, you know? Let's not be so divided anymore. Let's not be this whole, you can't balance around the top 10% and Havoc's a no life and they're crazy and, you know, you're a bunch of filthy entitled casuals. Forget all that. Let's unite this idea. We know that the elite players need more to do right now because Havoc taking a week to get to 100 or Havoc taking a week to, I suppose, finish the end game, you could say, is too short amount of time. He needs more to do. But casual players should not be affected by him needing more to do. You know, PoE had not always been so noob friendly as it is now, but I love that it's noob friendly, and I love that new people can come and enjoy the game. And this is the way to get them to enjoy the game. Right now we have this spectrum, and it's allowed, it started here. It was these elite players, and it's expanded like this. We have a lot more casuals in the game. Casuals of this range can now enjoy the game. But we need to keep this here. We need to not affect the casual player's experience, but we need to take this hardcore player's experience and we gotta push it. We have to push those hardcore players without affecting those, you know, those casual players. I hope you guys can understand this, and I hope you guys can think this through and see what I'm saying. That is a way to improve the game. Hopefully we can unite under this idea. And how do we do that? I mean, in the previous video, there were some good ideas, some good comments, and I don't know how you guys would feel about this. This is what I want the video to be about. I want you guys to share your opinions on how to do this. How do we keep the casual players, we don't affect their experience, but we give these hardcore players something awesome to do. And I don't want Paragon levels. I don't want an endless grind. No, I want a race. But I want a race that maybe lasts a month, because it used to last more than a month sometimes. So, you know, there's a lot of people concerned with it affecting the newbier players, and one idea is if you took maybe the last 5, 4, 3, maybe even 2 levels, you know, 97, 98 or something like that, and you multiplied it by a crazy amount. What skill, what character is really going to be that affected by 2 or 3 skill points those last couple levels? Who isn't going to be able to achieve all that they want to achieve, you know, with that last bit, and it's going to make this epic race at the end. So that's one idea. However, we don't want to exclude anyone, and there may be people out there who call themselves casual who get to level 97, level 98, level 99, who call themselves casual. Good for you, by the way, if you do, and who play in these challenge leagues, and they really wouldn't like that. So we don't want to exclude those players, and we don't want to leave them out. They might make builds that revolve around level 98, level 99, level 97, and they don't want to see that get any steeper, because who knows, these might just be some really efficient casual players, if you catch my drift. Now, one idea that I like, that I know GGG is kind of opposed to, is adding levels on top of level 100. You know, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105. I think adding 3 or 5 levels to the top is a very good solution. And GGG seems very opposed to this idea. But if a community unites with a... If we come together with this idea, this message, and explain and articulate very well why this is the perfect fix, they would have no choice but to listen to us. They would have no choice but to take in this decision. And yeah, maybe it would no longer be the race to 100. It would be the race to level 103. And those last 3 levels would be absolutely bonkers, crazy amounts of XP. And you could even have 105. And maybe 105, maybe you can't even do it in a challenge league. Maybe you can't even do it in a challenge league. And that way, the race of XP would last all the 3 months, and it would be the race to who can just get closest to 105 or 104. And then, maybe it takes a year to get to 105, and this would give those crazy people who play in permanent standard and permanent hardcore something stupid to do. And if they get it, we'll all look at them. If someone gets to level 105, we'll all look at them and we'll be like, wow, you are crazy, you're out of your mind, but good for you, that's awesome. You know, and they're just going to get a little bit of extra base life. And they're just going to get a couple extra passive points. It doesn't have to affect us casual players. You know, we're still going to have our very high passive point builds. And I know GGG is kind of opposed to this idea of adding levels on, But to me, it seems like a very good solution because we need the race to encourage these hardcore players. When you tell these hardcore players, oh, you can get to level 100 and 200 and 300 and something now, they're going to be like, oh man, it's time to suit up, it's time to go crazy. And GG is opposed to this idea, but we as a community need to unite with a good purpose. We don't need to be divided. We don't need to say, you know, you can't balance around these top players, because we're not going to do that. We're going to give these top players something more to do, and it's going to give us casual players something more to watch, but you can't hurt these casual players' gaming experience, because we want more people to play Path of Exile. We want more people to enjoy this awesome World of Warcraft that we all get to enjoy. And if we come together and we understand this idea that we need to simultaneously do both these things, maintain the casual player's enjoyment while giving the hardcore elite player something to do. If we do these two things at the same time, and if we all understand these ideas, we can force GGG to listen to the community. I cannot think of why it would be bad. I cannot think of why it would hurt the community. We need to stop being divided in our ideas, in our mindsets. We need to stop hating on each other's opinions so much and thinking that the other person is trying to hurt the other person's gaming experience. Stop thinking that each other is entitled. Stop thinking that, you know, you're a filthy casual. Stop thinking that you're a stupid no-life who just wants to ruin the game for us casuals. We need to stop all of that. We need to realize that we can make the game better for all people. We can provide this entertainment and this epic experience to observe for the casuals while they still have fun on their characters, and we can make this epic, engaging, super grind intensive race for these hardcore players. 1 week is not long enough. And us casual players don't have to be affected by that 1 week that they're doing. We don't need to get max levels. We can still have our entitled character. We can still have our, you know, our high passive characters, our complete builds. You know, we can still get to level 90, hopefully. We can still get to level 90, and maybe if you're not there yet, you can still do whatever. It's not going to hurt you. It's time that we put the grind back in grinding gear games. 1 week to complete the race to max level isn't long enough. It hurts the culture of the game. And we are also divided in this casual elite mindset that we're too, you know, we can't stop and think about this, how it's going to damage the game. We're going to have less fun things to, you know, we can't have these epic rips and these hilarious VODs to watch on Twitch. And, you know, they're going to be bored after a week and they're going to leave the game, and we're going to lose those hardcore elite players that we need so much, that we need to look up to learn about the game, that come up with these awesome builds that blow our minds, you know, and we can become like them one day. And this sort of inspiration, please take everything I say into account. Listen to me very clearly. Think about everything I say. I'm not trying to hurt casuals. I'm not trying to hurt the elite. I'm trying to help us all. If you enjoyed what I said here, please spread this opinion. Please let this opinion be heard. I want Path of Exile to be the best game of all time, and I don't want it to lose this epic part of its culture. And thank you so much if you got to this point in the video. As you can tell, I am extremely passionate, and this is the third video on this and the final video on this. I simply won't make another one. Spread this opinion around if you appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think. Can you think of other ideas besides increasing the level cap to make this epic race for the hardcore players and not affect these casuals and not hurt their experience too much? Give us something fun to watch and good television. Let me know your guys' opinions. You know, thank you so much for getting to this point. Thank you so much for watching.